Greetings, my name is SUNCARD19, and this is a pick a card reading on how do we get on the same page, and I'm using the Luminous Spirit Tarot deck. So what I want you to do is just focus on the pile that is the one that's going to give you the information that you need. Here we go. Okay, so our first pile is an epido. Our middle pile here is a spirit quartz. And our third one is kyanite. Okay, so I want you to focus on the pile that's going to give you the information you need, that's going to help you get an outlook on the question of how do we get on the same page. Pick a pile, pick the one that's right for you. Here we go. Greetings, I'm SUNCARD19, and this is the epido reading on how do we get on the same page. Here we go. Up first here we have the King of Cups reversed. This is someone who I get a sense of someone who doesn't really take responsibility for their actions. Someone who is willing to let someone else be the reason why they're not successful. Someone who is sort of maybe in a victim mentality or a woe is me type of state, which leads us to the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is probably the male and female energy. It doesn't have to be man and woman, but just male and female energy of the relationship. The Queen of Swords is someone who's much less tolerant of BS. Someone who likes to hold people accountable. And so I get a sense that the both of you have not been, like, the king has been, or the male energy, whoever that is, that person has sort of been not doing what they need to do. They're not handling their business. They're not taking care of the things they need to take care of. And the queen hasn't been speaking up for herself. She hasn't been holding this king accountable for some reason. And so part of the reason why you may not be able to get on the same page, along here with the Lover's card reverse, which makes sense. Part of the reason why you may not be able to get on the same page is just letting little things slide too often. And so if something happens, or if there's a disagreement, if there's something where it's like, hey, you know, we need to have a conversation about it. The queen, I feel like, is someone who just is letting the king just slip and not holding the king accountable and holding the king to the fire, saying, hey, you know, you're responsible for these things. You need to do these things. So there's a lot of like little conversations that lead to bigger conversations that are just not being had and are not taking place. And so the king is just sort of bumping along, just sort of saying, hey, you know, I can behave how I want. You know, I'm not getting in trouble for things that I should be getting in trouble for. And, you know, that doesn't hold me accountable in the relationship. And the queen is like, well, I want to argue about this, or I want to talk about that, or I want to do this. And she just can't pick a place to start. She can't find a place to say, you know what, there's certain things that I need in this relationship, and she's just not willing to have them. So what could happen is, because she's not having the conversations, the little conversations, it could blow up. It could be one big conversation where now you got to talk about 8 or 9 different topics all at once. What really is, there's a bunch of smaller conversations that need to be had along the way. And so the Lover's reverse is like two people that are just not on the same page. Two people that are just not sort of working together. It's more like two individuals that are in a relationship together. And so I feel like this is just a chance for the two of you to get back on the same page. But it's going to take a lot of these little conversations over and over again. Like every time the queen is annoyed or dissatisfied or just sort of not happy about something, the king needs to hear it so that this king can be accountable, because he needs feedback. He's someone who would just float along and just won't take advice. He'll just sort of he's not someone who's going to be very proactive. He's someone who's reactive. So the queen has to be active, or proactive, or just active, so that the king can react to the queen's requests. Otherwise, the king is just going to float, which leads us to the Hangman card. This is a card where it's like the biggest challenge is who's going to be the leader in this relationship. Which person is going to step up and say, I'll be a leader. I'll be someone who really sparks us and moves us forward, which leads to the Seven of Cups reversed. Is a card about just sort of not picking something, not really choosing. It's like a big lack of leadership, and from a lack of leadership, you just get two people floating in the wind, and you just get two people that just sort of bumping along, not really excited about the relationship. They don't hate each other. They're not fighting all the time, but it's just two people that are just sort of go their own way too often within the relationship. They're not even like, maybe it's like two people that don't even really hang out a whole lot. They may just sort of be together or live together, but not necessarily be in a state where they're like actively seeking each other and really in a solid relationship. So what I would think is, or what I feel like this relationship needs is a leader. It needs someone to step up and say, I'm going to lead this relationship. I'm going to, kick this thing in gear. I'm going to do what I got to do so that this relationship can have a better outlook and go in a better direction. So to answer the question of why can't we get on the same page, a big part of it is a lack of leadership. So if you're the one listening to this, or if your partner is willing to just have the conversation, say, we need leadership. We need us to step up. We need this thing to go. So if you're willing to be the leader, take control and really conduct this relationship, get it to where it needs to be, because I feel like otherwise I just get two people that are just sort of drifting. They're not really headed in any particular direction. And so be sure that the two of you have the same long-term goals, the same outlook on the relationship, and that you guys are getting the same things you want out of the relationship. So you can have like a sense of, what does this relationship mean to you and why are you in it? That both of you can have that conversation and make sure that your goals and your reasons for being in the relationship match up. But the only way you're going to have those kind of conversations, the only way you're going to get this thing moving forward, is if someone says, I'll be the leader, I'm going to take charge, and we're going to get this thing moving. So if you're willing to step up and be the leader, then do that. Otherwise, share with your partner. Maybe your partner is waiting to be, your partner may have been wanting to be a leader all along, and they just didn't know how to do it. Or maybe they never felt like they had permission. But now give them permission if you don't want to be the person. I'm Untitled SUNCARD19. Thank you for choosing this reading. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Many blessings, love and light. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to leave a comment. Tell me why you chose this reading and what it means to you. Be sure to subscribe and share it to other people. Have a good one. Peace. Greetings of Untitled SUNCARD19, and this is the Spirit Quartz reading on how can we get on the same page. Here we go. Okay, first we have the Queen of Cups reversed. This is I get a sense of the female energy in the relationship, usually the woman, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the woman. The female relationship, the female person in the relationship is sort of dissatisfied, and she's in a state of, she's unhappy, but not necessarily know how to express it or how to say it, which leads us to the Tower card reverse, saying that if the Queen can't really find ways to express her feelings and get to a place where she can really say what's on her mind and really get to a place where this is a place where if she can't be more honest and be open and talk about the things that she's having issues with, it's going to lead to the Tower, which is sort of an explosion card, where it's like just sort of this ticking time bomb, where for the two of you to get on the same page, this Queen has to be more honest, more open, and really talk about the way she feels and the things that upset her. So she's not defending herself. She's not standing up for herself. She's just letting things slide. And for some reason, that's just going to keep happening unless this person can stand up, which leads us to the Page of Swords reverse. This Queen, to me, whoever this female energy is in a relationship, needs to be the leader over this Page of Swords. To me, this Page of Swords is someone who is probably more immature, someone who's not very good at expressing themselves, someone who is someone who will be led but not necessarily be a leader. So this Queen has to be the one to say, I'm going to teach this Page of Swords, this potentially younger person, I'm going to teach this Page of Swords. I get a sense that this male energy here is someone who may not necessarily be younger in age, but maybe less mature. I feel like the Queen is the mature person in a relationship, and this Queen actually has to teach this person how they need to be treated and how they should treat each other, which leads to the Knight of Wands reverse and the Eight of Wands reverse. And so these are two cards about just a lot of stagnant energy. The Knight wants to move. The Knight wants to go fast. The Eight of Wands wants to go fast. And so the only way this relationship is going to get on the same page is if this Queen can be a leader and a teacher for this page. And so the only way this relationship is going to move forward is if this female or this Queen energy is willing to sort of be the teacher, be the leader, be the role model almost be the parent a little bit to this page. And I feel like the page will actually respond when the queen steps up and says, hey, let's do things differently. Let me show you how to do this thing. Let me help you figure this out. And, you know, and be more mature and be in a sense of helping this page become fully mature and fully developed. Because I feel like the Queen of Cups is someone who is mature, someone who is fully, like, you know, they're developed, fully developed adult, and the page is sort of a sort of immature adult. But I feel like the page is willing to grow up if the queen can help. And so I feel like this person will be receptive to you know, putting away childish ways and childish things if this queen is willing to teach and help this person develop. Sometimes I get a sense that this person may feel like they're like this person's parent sometimes, versus this person's in a relationship with. So this Knight of Wands reversed to me and the Eight of Wands reversed to me is a sense of, I get a sense that you may be ready to leave or ready to be over the relationship. These two cards to me say don't go. And so if they were uprighted, I feel like it's time to go. These two cards are saying you may want to leave, but don't leave just yet. So there's a potential that this Page of Swords could become more mature, could grow up, if this queen is willing to take control, willing to dominate and oversee the relationship. So it may not be easy. It may not be her natural state in the relationship. She may not be someone who's a natural leader or a natural teacher. She may be someone who is, she may like for someone else to take charge. And so, but I get a sense that this page is not someone who's going to take charge. They're not someone who's going to take control of the relationship. So they may need to be taught. They may need to be sort of developed a little bit. And if the queen is willing to do that, she can avoid this crash. She can avoid this crash by really coaching and mentoring this page into being the fully mature adult version of themselves. So overall, I would say that these last two cards is don't leave just yet. Give this page another chance to get on the same page as you. And so, but it's going to take some coaching. Obviously, it's not going to happen just overnight. But if you're willing to be that coach, if you're willing to be that person that's sort of going to help raise this potentially immature person and get them to where they need to be and stick with them, I feel like it could be successful. So don't leave just yet. Put a little bit more effort into this and make sure that you're having the conversations, you're teaching so that you can avoid this crash. And then, you know, you don't want to be frustrated and stuck with someone who's not going to mature. But you can help them and teach them how to be mature, help them grow up a little bit. So if you're willing to take on that role, if you're willing to put in that effort, I feel like there's some success here. There's a foundation here for this. It could be successful. But if you're not willing to have those conversations, if you're not willing to sort of be the leader right now while you're catching this person up to speed, then I feel like you're going to be left with a lot of frustration and you may not be on the same page. So the choice is yours. What are you going to do? I'm Untitled SUNCARD19. Thank you for choosing this reading. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Many blessings to you. Love and light. Be sure to hit the thumbs up or hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me why you chose this reading and what it meant to you. And share this with other people. And I appreciate it. Have a good one. Peace. Greetings, I'm Untitled SUNCARD19. And this is the Kyanite pile for the How Do We Get on the Same Page reading. Here we go. Up first here we have the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Moon, and we have the Eight of Cups reversed, the Seven of Swords reversed, and the Strength card reversed. So the Seven of Pentacles card to me has a lot to do with patience. This is a card saying that having a sense of putting a lot of work into this relationship. I feel like you've been working at it. It's not something new. And so what happens is by being patient, by being someone who is willing to stick it out and say, hey, let's think for the long term. Let's make some long-term decisions here. And we'll be patient, which leads us to the Moon card. The Moon card has a lot to do with the idea of you don't know what you don't know. And so that's the sort of the theme of this reading is there's a sense that maybe there's some more information that you need to gather in this relationship. So with the Eight of Cups reversed, this is sort of the because you may be unsatisfied or you feel like you're doing all the work in the relationship. You may sort of feel like it's time for you to leave, and you're like, I'm tired of this. I'm not making any progress. It's not helping me to, I'm putting in the work and the other person may not be putting in the work, which leads us to the Seven of Swords. And so to have the Seven of Swords in this challenge spot, it may feel like the other person in the relationship is potentially I feel like they may not be being totally honest about some things, and so I get a sense that they may be holding something back or hiding something, and that they may not necessarily be ready or willing to share with you just yet, which leads us to the Strength card reverse, saying that I feel like you're pouring a lot of energy into this relationship, and I feel like you're carrying the weight of this relationship, and that's part of the reason why you can't get on the same page. Is I feel like the other person is holding something back or not sharing something, and that's sort of leaving you in a place of just sort of feeling stuck or not in control, maybe even feeling a little bit lost. So I just get a sense that there's some need for some deeper conversations, and I'm not accusing your partner of anything. I'm not saying that they're doing this or doing that. I'm just saying that they're probably holding something back. They could be, it could be as little as someone who's not trying as hard as they should in a relationship for whatever reason, to as far as someone who's just being flat out dishonest. There could be a range there. So I don't want to accuse your partner of anything, but but what I'm getting from this reading is a sense of this person is just not being totally honest in terms of maybe they have certain feelings that they're holding back. Maybe they have certain things they want to do with their life and they just don't know how to express it. Maybe they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing. So it could be any range. So I don't want to accuse this person of anything. I just get a feeling that there's some information that you don't know yet, and there's some more digging that you should do that can help you make a better choice. So you may be wanting to leave this relationship, but I would say is just wait a little bit until you get more information. Now, once you get more information, you might feel like, okay, great, my fears weren't as bad as I thought they were, or it could be, I'm out of here. Like I don't want to be a part of this anymore. So, but what I feel like is don't leave or don't go right now, because you don't have all the information, and I don't want you to leave a relationship that you potentially could save. And so, if you're willing to or you want to save this relationship, what I would say is dig a little deeper. Find out what this person may not be willing to share with you, or what deep conversations this person may not want to have with you right now, and be open to that and give the person the space that they need to sort of work through and process whatever it is that they're going through. Because I'm not saying that their situation is easy for them. They may be having a tough time. They may be in a challenging situation, and they may not know how to share it with you. And so be willing to work with them. It doesn't have to be now or never. But what I would say is with this Seven of Swords reversed is just allow this person a chance to be honest with you, and give them the sort of platform to be honest, and give them the space to be honest, so that you can have the strength to decide what you want to do afterwards. So I just feel like there's like one or two deep conversations that you guys aren't having that could potentially heal and solve the relationship, or it could potentially end the relationship. But either way, I feel like you get a sense of you're just doing all the work and the other person is not. And so you're already in an unfair state. You may already be unhappy. And so for the way that you guys get on the same page is have those 2 or 3 deep conversations and find out, maybe even you may be holding some things back. You may not be completely honest either. So make sure that you guys can just sort of create a space where the two of you can really express how you feel, and without having like big immediate consequences, and giving you guys a chance to be honest with each other, but not make big decisions while you're emotional. So you get a chance to be honest and sort of then give yourself the time, give yourself the space to sort of think it through and process whatever's going on, so that you guys don't make a big, harsh or rash decision while you may be upset or overly excited. So what I would say is have these deeper conversations, figure out what's going on, be willing to share, sort of the inner works or inner feelings of how you feel and where your mind is. And then that will allow you guys to maybe get on the same page and heal and fix your relationship. So have the deep conversations, give yourself space, and give yourself time so you're not making decisions right away. Just because you're having the deep conversations doesn't mean you have to make decisions at the same time. Just sort of give yourself a chance and space to process and really think things through to get to the other side of it. And then I feel like that can give you a chance to get on the same page. But otherwise, I feel like you're stuck doing all the work, and you're the one who's going to carry the weight of the relationship, and you don't want that long term. I'm Elijah SUNCARD19. Thank you for choosing this reading. Thank you for picking this one. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Many blessings. Love and light. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Be sure to comment, tell me why you chose this reading and what it means to you. Be sure to subscribe and share this with other people. Have a good one. Peace.